Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the On Fire B2B podcast where we take business owners and CEOs in the B2B space. 6 questions, 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise and when to end. Let's get to it. Question number 1, in a few sentences, tell me who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm a husband and father. I'm going to quickly say, look, when I was a kid, I was run over by a truck. My arm was completely severed from my body, reattached. But what I learned from that was a core concept of embracing pain to avoid suffering. It's this that I use to not only overcome the injury, but build our last business from nothing to over 15 million in the span of a decade, and how I flipped it on its head as a human behavior performance coach and speaker to help hundreds of individuals just like you become more aware, more intentional, and more of who they already are, their most authentic selves.
Love it. What is your name?
I am Brian Bogert.
Perfect, Brian. Question number 2, what is the best thing about working with businesses?
Well, particularly if you don't niche into a particular industry, you get the opportunity to learn a whole lot, right? Every business, although it all comes back to people, does different things for different people in different industries. And if you're paying attention, your eyes are open, your ears are open, you can learn a whole lot about how this world works and meet really cool people.
I love it there. Question number 3, I'm hearing from other top executives and owners that using quotes and testimonials from clients really increase conversion in sales. What are your thoughts?
I think it's exactly correct. I think sometimes it can be used to add relevance and credibility on the front end, depending on who you're talking to, but particularly on the back end, it's a way to validate what your prospective clients are asking about you. Is this the real deal? I just had this happen last week. Somebody said, I've been screwed so many times in these different directions because of marketing in different pieces. Who can I talk to? Well, clients can tell you exactly what you do and who you are when you're not around, so that they can really trust and validate to that prospect that it's the real deal.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Question number 4, what advice you share with other companies working in the B2B industry? Go.
Yep. So again, my philosophy on embrace pain to avoid suffering, I'm going to give you a few examples and then we'll talk about how to do this right now. Reality of it is we were all knocked out of autopilot 6 to 9 months ago. We're all having to embrace a lot of pains that we weren't used to. But we'll use a couple of examples. We can embrace the pain of hitting the gym every single day for 30 minutes to avoid the aches and pains of a sedentary lifestyle. We can embrace the pain of having a difficult conversation with a client to avoid the suffering of an unrepairable relationship that we aren't going to be able to build on. We as business owners can embrace the pain of firing our top salesperson, right? To avoid the suffering of stagnant growth, losing all of our other top talent because they're the biggest cancer in our culture. Now that I've given you an idea of what this looks like, the reality is now we can pivot. We're in the midst of a world where we've had to pivot and embrace way more pains than we hope to do. Now is the perfect time, getting knocked out of autopilot, not having to rely on all of the things and routines that we've built our world off of, our businesses off of, our routines, our systems off of, to really take toll on what are the things that are additive? What are the things that fulfill the mission that we're here to seek? What are the things that fulfill the mission that we really want to impact our clients with? How do we provide our associates with more opportunities to grow personally, professionally, and financially? And what are those things that aren't additive? What are those things that take away and drain and impact our brand in a negative way, that don't actually produce revenue in the way that we want to, that don't actually have the impact on our clients that we want to? Right now, after 6 to 9 months of adjusting in this pandemic, realizing all the pains that we've had to embrace to pivot to technology, to learn how to continue to build and fulfill our mission towards our clients in this new world, we as business owners and leaders need to embrace the pain of going through the process of evaluating and really taking a hard look at our businesses, understanding what is still working, what is not working in today's world, and make sure that we're in a position to be able to survive on the back end, so that we're in a position to serve our clients on the back end, and that we can put ourselves and our businesses in a place to embrace the pains necessary of building relationships. Right now, we have access to more people than we've ever had ever in the history of the world when everybody's used to this technological platform of Zoom. So you can literally build, network, establish relationships, and create customers and clients across the entire globe. We, for the first time, have what I believe to be a true global economy. You can have conversations with people in Australia, England, India, no matter what part of the globe, to build relationships, focus on value, focus on impact, and build that. So embrace the pain of the time that we have in front of us, of finding ways to get to as many people as you can, to build relationships, value, and impact, to avoid the suffering of not having the pipeline necessary on the back end of all of this, to make sure that you can survive and be sustainable.
Love it. Love everything that you said there. 100% agree on embracing the pain. Let's get to question number 5. What other top CEOs and business owners in the B2B industry, like yourself, would you like to acknowledge as a leader and should be a guest on my podcast?
Gentleman by the name of Chris Ross. He's actually based in the UK. He's owner and CEO of a number of different entities, most recently with Winjet. And he'd be a phenomenal person for you to talk to.
Perfect. I'll look him up. We're done here. But number 6, Brian, most important question of the podcast. You better focus. Hey, Brian, Tell me about your first time. Your first sale.
Well, it was with the crappiest job I ever had. And it was when I was 11, I decided to start a poop excavation business for dog poop and animals. So I literally, my first sale was going next door, knocking on there with a bucket and pail that I had just went out and bought, knowing I'm going to build this business, and literally went there and said, do you have any dog poop that I can pick up? And immediately they said yes. And so that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. I was like, all right, this is the crappiest job, but if I can pick up poop, I can do anything.
Literally the crappiest job you can have.
Exactly.
There we go there. So Brian, you now have 3 minutes and 34 seconds left. So here's what you can do. Do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather. Or since the best know when to be concise and when to end early, we end early, go.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm on a mission right now to impact 1 billion lives in the next 25 people. What does that mean? It's to reduce the amount of suffering that's on this planet so that we have the opportunity to have joy, freedom, and fulfillment. What I do is work with executives, entrepreneurs, high-performing salespeople, growth-minded individuals to help them get to the next level. And I don't do what many in this industry do, which is to use fear, shame, guilt, and a lot of those negative emotions to really drive people into my programs. I'm exactly opposite of that. I want to use those negative emotions to help you understand those emotional triggers, those behavioral patterns, and use them to your advantage and nobody else's. Now is the perfect time to really be able to elevate your life, reach your potential, and get to the next level. And whether it's as a paid client or if there's just something with the free content that I can give to be able to help all of you, by all means, please let me know. But 99.99999% of that 1 billion will never pay me $1. So to move forward on that commitment, to let you know that I'm actually giving and creating content, go to nolimitsprelude.com. There will be a free download there of a lot of our coaching philosophies. And whether you're stuck, have no idea where to begin, or you're well on your path to knowing who you are, this will be really valuable in your life, especially right now, valuable in your business right now. And other than that, man, it's just been a pure pleasure being able to have the conversation with you today.
Well, thank you so much. You pulled it off. 6 questions in 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise and when to end. We're going to put a website in the description. Which one is it?
BrianBogert.com.
In the description, it's magic. Brian, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you. And for everyone else watching or listening, make sure you check out more episodes of the On Fire B2B podcast. I am Bob Clark. Y'all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.